Hi guys, welcome back to Wardle Road, and today's video is going to be the Milton Keynes show. I didn't get too much footage. I was mainly sort of talking to people and trying to find the right stuff I needed for my new depot baseboard. Excuse the paint on the hands, I had a spray canister explode on me while building my sort of scale model scenery diorama. So more on that in a future update. But yeah, I went to the show with John from St Michael's and my girlfriend, and it was a really good show. Sadly missed a couple of exhibits, but other than that, I got to see a couple of the layouts from the Great Model Railway Challenge, managed to grab a couple of interviews, and we also got the GMRC coach on a couple of the layouts as well. So enjoy that, enjoy the footage, like, comment as always. Thanks for all the support. We've gone well over 700 subscribers now. So yeah, enjoy.
Well, we've all been attending Milton Abbey railway modelling courses, and so when the call went out for teams to enter the Great Model Railway Challenge, Milton Abbey modellers decided that they'd like to put a team together.
Yeah.
So I got conscripted to join that, and so we entered the competition, and we were in the first series, which was filmed in the summer of 18, I guess, And so then, of course, given the theme of movies, we chose the Ealing comedies because there are so many of them and they're great classic British films, and it allowed us to make a setting in the East End of London, Dockland, which is how we've constructed it. So it took about a month before the filming, and then we had 3 days to put the thing together in the course of the competition, and then we spent about 6 months afterwards finishing it up.
So when you did the layout, did you have an initial idea?
Yeah, we had quite a detailed plan of exactly where the track would be, how we would do the forced perspective, and that we would have the curved back scene to make it look as if it's houses just disappearing into the distance, terraced houses. And because it's the early 1950s, there was still a lot of bomb damage sites, and so we fitted that around Passport to Pimlico, which has a bomb site in it, and 13 films in the end that are represented on the set.
How many was on the actual show? But how many did you?
We only had about, I think, only about half of those at that point. But we had the big ones, which were the Lady Killers and the Passport to Pimlico. Those are the two that feature, and then the two ships at the front. They were made by one of the team, and they both correspond to films. One is the Maggie, and the other is Whiskey Galore.
On the show that you had, I remember they were saying there was a bit of an argument as to you allowed a certain amount of items beforehand.
Oh, well, that turned into a bit of a controversy. It's partly because when we talked to the producers beforehand, they were all for ambition, and the more the better.
Yeah, definitely.
But the judges didn't quite see eye to eye with that. So yes, there was a bit of controversy. But to be honest, we didn't really mind. We were the last heat, although it was actually the first shown on TV, I think probably because of the controversy. But we were actually the last heat, and if we had actually won, we would have to have gone back to Fawley the following week to build the layout for the final. And we were exhausted, shattered, so we were happy not to have to do that.
Did you end up managing keeping it in the budget, because you got each team got a fairly large budget, didn't they?
Well, because there were several sponsors who donated quite a lot in terms of whatever. Pico, for example, the budget for the track, and then Hornby and Bachman both were sponsors, but a lot of what we built are scale scenes kits. And of course they're really very inexpensive. You pay once to download the PDF, and then you can print it 100 times if you want. So then you're only faced with the cost of the ink and the paper. So a lot of the buildings, although there's many of them, were actually very inexpensive.
Oh, okay, well. And the idea of the rolling stock, was that just to keep the theme of...
Well, we had the rolling stock anyway. A lot of it were team members already had. So we sent them to our team member who is really good at weathering. So he weathered everything, the buildings and the rolling stock, to give it that grimy post-war sort of look. And
all the buildings there, they were all, as you said, they're all kit built. There's no Metcalfe or anything.
Yeah, there are Metcalfe in the corner of that side. There's a pair of warehouses. They're Metcalfe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Most of the buildings are scale scenes.
And as you mentioned, there's a lot of lighting as well on this layout as well, isn't there? Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Count of how many layouts then?
So it's done 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 so far.
It's only been running since the start of January.
Okay.
So
It's not bad, really. It's not bad, guys.
It's doing really well actually.
Anyway round, do you not mind?
So which side are you filming from?
I'll do both. I'll film from here and front end doesn't matter.
So if the writing's on that way.
The writing's on the outside.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Perfect. That goes.
So here with a fracking disaster.
Oh yeah?
Thank you for joining me. Do you want to sort of tell us what the plan was like before you went on the show? Did you have a rough idea of what you wanted to do, or?
We got given the brief about 6-7 weeks out from actually filming. We had to have plans back in within a couple of weeks. We were told that it was going to be the Restless Earth. Originally we were going to build a volcano. If you've watched the show, you saw that the other two layouts were volcanoes. We changed, thinking that we'd go for something more man-made.
How soon before the actual show did you change your mind, or was it?
It was the day that we were planning.
Oh really?
So, so probably about 5 weeks out from the show, we got together and then had set up, sat down with a computer and drew some designs out. And thought that a volcano is great, but are other people going to do it? We thought earthquakes, but then are other people going to do that? And then we thought, well, fracking. You know, it's something that we're causing. Whether or not it causes sinkholes and all this stuff is controversial, but we thought, why not? Something different.
Yeah. Did you manage to keep it in the budget as well?
So the budget they gave us is
about $3,500, I think.
About $3,500 roughly.
Returning going back onto its normal line.
Only things we went over was just buying like paint and stuff like that because it's not allowed in the budgets.
And of course, you've got to keep the layout afterwards as well. So
we get to keep the layout afterwards and all the little bits and bobs that come with it as well, which is great. We didn't buy any locomotives or anything like that. That's all stuff from home. We figured it was better to use the budget on stuff that we didn't have than stuff that we did.
Definitely.
But we do now have boxes and boxes of stuff that is all left over.
For more layout.
Well, that's it. Even though we only got through to the first round, we had to submit 3 other layout designs on top of this, so we were ready in case we got through.
So they knew what you were going to do.
We've got plans for 4 layouts.
That never got built.
We had the Myths, Monsters and Legends layout planned. We had movies layout planned.
Oh, because there was different themes.
Yeah, and we had the last layout planned. Our movies layout would have been Shaun of the Dead.
Oh wow.
Our Myths, Monsters and Legends would have been zombies. So we tried to keep them quite similar.
Yeah.
So ordering on bits for them was easy to work out. We
so you could
ordering
move them,
loads of different items. And then our last one was going to be magic and casino themed.
Oh wow.
So we've had like a Vegas themed layout with changing trains and stuff like that. But it would have been good, but we didn't get through. And
that's what I'm going to ask you about, because a lot of people I've spoken to about the show said, because obviously it's getting railways onto TV, and that's something that's only just started. A lot of people questioned how the judging actually happened on the show as well, because like some people's layouts weren't ready till the final day or the final couple of hours beforehand. So did you feel like there was an issue maybe with how the judging happened, or do you think it was?
I think as far as ours went, the judging was fairly fair. The only thing we didn't like about the judging was the last category was to do with the functionality.
Yeah.
Everything on ours worked flawlessly. It worked every time we tried it. We had, the whole time we were there, we had 2 problems. One was that we reballasted a bit of track and didn't clear it before we run something through it.
Yeah.
The other was a short out issue. It was nothing to do with the railway itself. It was the laptop.
Yeah.
So obviously they were the 2 things that made it into the show, because they were the 2 issues we had.
Who did the scratch build challenge?
That was me.
That was you. Yeah. What were the items you got given them?
It was hair gel, a tutu, and party poppers.
And what did you manage to turn them into?
So the hair gel we turned into a water tower.
Yep.
Just to supply the local village. We left the hair gel in it, and the bit that they cut out in the show, which we really liked, was every time they took a shot of it, Tim was sticking his hand in doing his hair. The party poppers we turned into water tanks, and the top of the party poppers we cut off and they went on to the top of the houses. And along with the tutu, we turned them into smoke for the houses, so it looks like smoke coming out the chimney.
Brilliant, yeah.
And there's also a football goal and a hammock made out of the tutu. So we tried to go for as much as we could, out of the few things we had.
So what's the future plans for Frackens? Is it going to be touring now, or is that?
We hope to take it out again.
Yeah.
But we're not really a model railway
exhibition type people.
Yeah.
As it says on your shirt.
We've done an exhibition in Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yes.
Too far.
It's a bit too far for us, unfortunately. At the minute, it's stored in a conservatory because it's the only space any of us have to store it.
Jenny's layouts. All of theirs are stored, stacked up in a conservatory.
Yeah, that's it.
As well, but
and it's great to have.
Yeah.
But it's hiring vans, finding places to stay. Luckily, we're only down the road from here. We're junction 12 of the M1, so we're not far to go to get here.
Because all the baseboards were built by the TV company, weren't they?
They were built by I can't think what the name of the company is, but they were
supplied.
And then this last board we've added on, which is from the same company. We ordered from the same company. We knew it was going to be the same height, the same weight. We knew everything was right on it. But it's a good baseboard. It's really lightweight, but it's really strong.
Yeah.
It's all laser cut parts as well. So.
Did you once the show was finished? Did you then carry on working on the layout and adding anything else, or?
It's been up for about the last 2 weeks in the conservatory, just to a bit of fettling. We took it back from the show. It got stacked up, left in the conservatory, and we haven't touched it apart from about 2 weeks ago when we thought, well,
left to rot for a little bit.
It's going to a show. We better try and make sure everything works.
Lovely.
And to be honest, when we got it here, we plugged it all together. I think we had 2 little issues of it like not being quite level from where it was built. We solved them pretty quick, and
lovely.
It's all going again.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
That's all right, not a problem.
Cheers, thank you.